I'm gonna tell you a little thing about show business, at least the way that we do it when we're filming MeatEater. You are only seeing a very small fraction of what happens. So I'm gonna be talking about a moose hunt that I did with Clay Newcomb in East Central Alaska. We hunted for 9 days. And when we're hunting there, we're active about 12 hours a day, which is the daylight hours. So we're hunting for 108 hours.
We've seen a lot of wolves on this trip. First night we were here, we saw 14 black wolves all together.
So what you're seeing when you watch the episode is 0.3% of what happened. Behold, as we're gonna talk about some of what went on during that time you don't know about. And to help me do this are my friends and colleagues, Chester Floyd and Clay Newcomb.
So tell me a little bit about what happened.
You may not remember this, but when you called me and said, Clay, let's do a moose hunt.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you said, which I absolutely respected, was you said, I'd like for you to go. I'm gonna shoot a moose and, you know, we'll hopefully get 2. Like basically you were saying, you've moose hunted so many times and never killed a big Alaskan moose.
You know, I carry everybody's big moose.
It was your turn to do it, and you were like a good hunting buddy, was just making that clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was your hunt. I was kind of just like the side story, and maybe was gonna get one.
You go in there for 9 days, and you go up to the top of a ridge, and you sit there. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
You go from your tent, you walk up the ridge real sneaky like.
A moose right in there.
Try to be.
Mm-hmm.
No
Somebody
fires.
wouldn't let us have a fire.
Somebody would not let us have a
If we
fire.
go back, we're having a fire. I've talked to several very legitimate moose hunters, and the first thing I ask them is, do y'all have fires in your tents? And they all said that is the first thing we do when we get to moose camp. I give you names of killer moose men.
You go up there and we made little dugouts and huts and read a few books, and we were waiting for a moose.
You don't budge. And I'm not being lazy. I love to walk around. Every part of my body is saying walk around. If I see a moose way off, every part of my body is saying go after that moose. I like that spot a lot right there. Oh, it's killing me, it's killing me, it's killing me. I wanna go over there so bad and try to call that bull in.
He is notorious for not being able to sit.
No, not that I'm not able to. I choose not to. Choose not to. Maybe I can't. I like to think of it that I choose not
I'm
to.
not sure that you're choosing that. I think it's
Every person you speak to who's experiencing this style of hunting, meaning many people might regard moose as kind of dull-witted, not very suspicious, not very wary. They, in fact, are quite wary in areas where they are facing heavy predation and in areas where they get hunted. So you're stuck in a spot because you have very limited areas where you can land a plane and get out. These are places that are hard to get to. You can't move the camp because you have to get the bull, which could be a 1,000-pound animal, back to a specific landing strip. If you talk to anybody that does this on a regular basis, they hunt this way. If you start walking around, you kill your area because you leave scent trails. Every time you leave, moose come through at night, they're like, something's not right, and you kill your spot. So people that do this successfully don't move. They just don't move. You will not find 2 versions of how to do this by talking to experts.
They call this a ridge hunt for that. That's what it's called. You fly onto a ridge where you can see good and you camp and sit.
And you do not spread odor.
It's day 1 of our moose hunt, and you can't see anything.
After many, many days of just something very, very tedious, I started to get a guilty conscience.
Really?
Yeah.
Thinking I was getting bored?
Just thinking that I'd kind of put you into a weird situation where you've been sitting there for all that time, and after a while, I'm like, man, I probably should let him shoot the moose because this has got to be the worst thing that's ever happened to him.
You ever think about letting me maybe shoot it?
No. Never crossed my mind. there spreads through camp this idea that
The whispers.
that you got to go easy on sandwich material because there's not much sandwich stuff.
Day 1 through 6, we're like peeling off the salami, like get like 2 pieces and put it on.
Eating this stuff you peel off the edges.
And then on day 8, we find this whole other cooler with no less than like 8 or 9 like big thick slabs of just ice cold salami on there.
I'll give that to you guys, but when you're in charge of all the food on a hunting trip like that, the absolute last thing that I want to have happen is somebody be like, we're out of food or we're out of coffee.
Wait a minute, we did run out of coffee.
No,
It was a coffee crisis.
no, there wasn't.
Small coffee crisis.
I think you guys were like taking all the little packets and like hiding them under your pillowcases and stuff because
Yeah.
you
'Cause I
thought
could
we were
tell.
gonna run out. But I brought a beautiful percolator.
Okay. When we ran out.
We didn't run out.
But the perception of running out while you're in Alaska is actually worse than running out.
Yeah.
So Steve and I perceived we were running out of coffee, so we were in like crisis.
Yeah, you start to
And we
hoard.
blamed
It
you.
brings out like
We
what.
talked about you. Could you hear us?
But
through the tent?
I would never do that to you guys. When you're filming this stuff, you are literally like tucked down, and then you start moving, and Steve goes like this over his shoulder.
It's a stare.
It's a stare,
Like, let's say
and you were just trying to.
this is
wipe
what
your
I'll do.
runny nose
You make a
'cause you're
noise.
sick.
You make a noise. The camera makes a noise. I'm like this. They'll make it again. They'll make it again. What in the world is going on?
We're trying to kill a moose over here.
Yeah, but
I'm like, maybe you didn't get the memo. This is the part of the pandemic where everybody thought that the normal things that made you sick went away. And all those things were coming back with a vengeance. So everybody's just sick.
so what our symptoms was a fever, a little bit of loss of smell, a cough, but
a loss of get up and go.
loss
A
of get up.
loss of an ability to stay quiet. It was like the symptomology. Call my doctor. I just can't stay quiet. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting I'd like you guys to see. We're in a Sikh tent here. And this is my gear area here. This is where I have my stuff organized. But I'm sharing a tent space with Clay Newcomb. Let's see how Clay's gear is organized. There's his, even though we're on a rifle hunt, there's his bow and his broken arrows because he wanted to be able to practice with his bow.
We're not bow hunting. Clay has his hunting stuff for moose, and he has his bow hunting thing so that he can target practice should he get a minute.
And let's take a look at the gear organizing pile here.
Let me just start off by saying this was a complete hit job. Go ahead.
Oh, you know, the more I look, I'm starting to see how it is organized. That's his large format coffee table book. And oh, this over here is the garbage area.
Okay, when you're flying into a flying camp, there's a lot of conversation about what to bring and what not to bring, right? Especially when you see your mound of stuff. At the last minute, inevitably, you start pulling stuff. You're looking at the pile with a little bit of a sense of guilt and self-loathing about how much stuff is there. It's all got to go into these small planes. The planes have weight limits. If you're flying in a Super Cub, you're allowed a person and 50 pounds in a load.
I don't know if you should be thanking me or cussing at me.
I'm thanking you.
That's when you're like, do we really need a grizzly-proof fence? No. Do we really need extra candy bars? No. Somehow in this process, Clay said, do I really want to bring a collection of large format coffee table books? Yes. He legitimately had large format.
I mean,
So he's going to thumb through his coffee table books.
There's a lot
He's going
of
to target
factors.
practice with
There are a
his
lot of
long
factors that
bow.
play into
And
this.
meanwhile, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should only bring one mitten. I can put one hand in my pocket and I'll have one mitten and that'll save weight.
one small thing.
fire going at you.
I took my stuff and threw it in. I literally threw it in there and then went to the tent. And then you came back and that's when you got me. And I'm not saying that it didn't look like that at other times. And I'm not saying that your side didn't always look better than mine. I'll give that to you. It didn't always look that bad. I literally had pitched my bag in there and I ran to the food tent. So, but
I don't think it would have been a pitching of a bag. I could picture it being like a this,
yeah.
but it wouldn't have been a pitching of a bag.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a bag laying there. It was like you went,
It was like a manure spreader.
and then went.
You know, there's only so many things in life you can be good at, and gear organization is not always my strongest suit.
But you know what?
Like it is Steve Rinella's.
The way the weather's shaking out, and in terms of getting picked up by the plane and all that, which is always like somewhat flexible, you know, it's like a moving target. We'll be able to come in here and hunt this hill one more time, and would still have time to try to pack a bull out of here.
So it's day 9 of the hunt, last day of the season, and basically shoot the ending scene of the film, and we're going home without a moose.
Yeah, with this very ominous storm cloud coming.
Yeah. We go back to camp, evade the storm, and then I believe it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The plane's coming at 7 a.m. the next day, so we don't have time to kill a moose. We don't have time to legitimately go on a hunt
Or so we thought.
and try to think we're gonna kill a moose. And I'm sitting in the tent with all the camera guys. Steve walks up and says, I'm going up on Porcupine. And I go, well, do you want me to go? And he was like, I don't care. And before we know it, we're all with camera gear up on Porcupine. And we're really not supposed to be hunting. We don't have time to get one out if we kill one.
2 hours of daylight till the season ends.
If it's a big one, you're shooting. If it's obviously illegal, shooting.
He's standing right there, but then there's something. If he's here, who's back there going? And then we knew there was 2 bulls.
So we're watching a bull with our own eyes like 20 yards from us, and then we hear another one coming. And that's when we know it's the big one.
Yo.
Hey, check out that left antler.
We'll see if my memory is correct. And this is one of those times when you get to test what you actually thought happened to what did, because we have the footage of it. But I remember saying, you're gonna shoot this bull, Steve. Just like a declarative statement, just to clarify.
But go ahead. No. You get up, go ahead. Go shoot that deal. I'm not gonna shoot.
And you go, no, you shoot it. And then now the camera cuts into what you see on the MeatEater episode, because the first thing you see me doing is saying, I'm gonna go get up by that stump. And so I go, you think I should go get up by the stump? And you go, yeah. And then I go, you go get up by the stump. Like I try again to say, you go shoot the thing. And then you go, dang it, Clay, shoot this bull. And then at that point, the bull is literally in sight. I mean, we can see his horns. And I know I gotta shoot this bull. So I get up there, the bull comes in the 19 yards, kill the bull. But I mean, for real, I gotta give you all the credit for that bull. I wouldn't have gone hunting. I mean, I just thought we were done.
Holy cow! Oh my gosh! Holy shit, guys! Holy cow! Holy cow! Gun on safety.
Because you just came up, you must have brought me up my cut, right?
Oh, of the meat? Sure.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?